But they're not driving over some very good issues. That's a long period ride as well. 6 hours one way, 14 hours. That's amazing.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Commissioners. It's my pleasure to preside for the election of chair for the Commission. And if everyone is aware of the process, we'll call for nominations from the floor, please. Director Dahl. Director Sinnott, or Commissioner Sinnott, you've been nominated. Would you accept that?
I would.
Oh, thank you very much. Are there any further nominations for the position of chair? For the third and last time, any further nominations? Hearing none, we'll declare Commissioner Sinnott elected as chair for 2025. Thank you very much. Now for the vice chair position, are there any nominations, please?
I'll nominate Commissioner Rice for vice chair.
Commissioner Rice, thank you. Commissioner Rice, would you accept that?
I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations for vice chair? Hearing none, we'll declare Commissioner Rice elected as vice chair for 2025. Thank you very much, and your new chair will now preside.
Just get my thing put together here. Okay, as my thing's loading, I can continue on. Sorry. Thank you very much, Mr. Yates. So I acknowledge that we are located on the traditional territory of the Liquiteau people, and I'll take a motion for the adoption of the public agenda for the inaugural meeting of the Strathcona Gardens Commission.
Move adoption.
Thank you, Commissioner Goldman.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. I don't think we have any petitions or delegations. Could I get a motion that the minutes of the special meeting of the Gardens Commission held on December 11th, 2024 be adopted as presented?
Move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on those minutes? All in favor? Any opposed? It's carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes?
I do have a matter.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Rice.
Looking back at the previous meeting, I'm a little bit concerned with the motion regarding to amend the financial plan to service 100% of the anticipated debt for the arena. When this motion came forward, there was a lot of things that happened that day, but quite frankly, there's for Area D, we share services with the Comox Valley. I haven't even seen yet what those tax increases are going to be for those services. Looking at finally what the requisition is going to be for Area D residents, I mean, this doubled our requisition. Looking back at, I see staff have already amended the draft financial plan this afternoon. We've had to go back and slash our community parks budgets. That's only a Band-Aid. And what I heard in the previous meeting was there was an opportunity to take a look at alternative options, that we didn't have to rush into the full 100% that day. And I'd like to know what those options are, because again, this is a long-term debt and it has extreme financial impact on my constituents. So I'm hoping that we can reopen that discussion and find out, are there any other opportunities to take a look at how we can bring this debt forward just a little bit more gentle for the taxpayers?
Sure. If I may, Madam Chair, then, absolutely. So what you've seen in the financial plan this afternoon is 100% of the requisition necessary to service the debt for, let's call it phase 2 for the arena, you can do that or any fraction or portion of that. So you can, let's round, I think it was around $160. You can stick with 160. You can make a resolution this afternoon. You can make it 80, you can make it 20, you can make it 40, you could make it whatever you want. What was important to us is that we just get direction to move forward from the commission, so a commitment. So just for argument's sake, if it's $160 and you said, let's do $100, that to us is a commitment that we're going to proceed, but we'll just layer on the increase over a year or two. That's what's really important to me, because the interesting part of the requisition for Strathcona Gardens is we have a fairly high ceiling on requisition. So we can raise the requisition without going out to the public. It's the borrowing component of it that we need authority for. So, so whatever portion or fraction of the 160 you want to go with, and you can simply make a resolution today. We've formatted the budget so it's not going to be that difficult to make changes like that, because let's say we've got 9/10 of what we need in there. So we get to a point where if there's going to be some motions and changes, we can easily plug and play those and bring the updates. But yeah, absolutely. If you want to change that to a fraction of that, we can absolutely do that this afternoon without any trouble.
Thank you for that. And one more comment. My concern is that, again, looking at the draft budget, I understand, yes, Area D is going to have to make some concessions to pay on this, but, I don't know yet what is the impact, for example, cutting back on our parks budget. And I see that it's been reduced considerably. Area D has other financial pressures that still haven't been addressed. Particularly, and I don't want to get into it in this meeting, but we have shared services that are continually going up. So there's a lot of things that are pressuring Area D taxpayers. And it would have been, I'm glad that we can talk about it, and hopefully we can talk about how can we reduce the impact to the taxpayers and not do it all at once. So that's what I'm hoping for. Thank you.
So anything further from the commissioners on this point before we move on? And is there any direction from Mr. Yates? Is there anything further we do in terms of business at this meeting on this?
Well, Madam Chair, if it's the Commission's will to change its previous recommendation, as the CEO has just stated, you can do that, and then that would be moved forward into the board arena this afternoon as part of the discussion on budget.
Okay, this is an appropriate time. Yes, Commissioner Kerr?
Thank you, Chair. And yeah, I think this is an appropriate time to have the discussion rather than, and if we're going to battle it out, let's battle it out in committee rather than on the board floor. I understand where Area D's come from. I mean, I think that phasing it in, we do this on other projects with the city too, is we phase it in over 2 years. And, I think it'd be appropriate to have, go 50% on the first year and then up to 100 on the second year. And that way, I think it's just a little bit easier on our taxpayers.
Any further comments? Is there a motion?
I would move that motion that we phase it in, just as Commissioner Kerr mentioned. Let's do 50 this year and let's do the next increase next year. Thank you.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second that for discussion. And just a question to staff. That sounds like it doesn't sound like there's any problems from a staff point of view in dealing with that.
Yeah, no, well, we're fine. If the group makes a motion, whatever it be, I'll just craft a motion for one of you for this afternoon, introduce that there, and we'll make the amendment to the budget. It won't be difficult.
Any further discussion from, yes, Commissioner Dahl?
I just want to clarify that it's 50% because it was not $50.
Rounding, I think, so I might be off $1 or $2. I think we were 160 or 165, so whatever that be, I'll just cut it in half and have that motion ready for this afternoon, if that's a consensus.
I just wanted to be clear because it was just said as 50. It wasn't said as $50 or 50% or 50 cents. So
50 cents won't do us any good.
no, but 50% would.
So Commissioner Rice, just to be clear, it's 50% of the prior, is that correct?
Yeah, so, just projecting forward then, Director Rice, when you're looking what you have today,
Yep.
I think you're plus or minus, I want to guess, $110 in Area D. Take 80, you'll convert down to 30.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Commissioner Rice, for bringing that up. Saves us maybe some time this afternoon. So staff reports, I don't have a report from the chair, so thank you very much. Staff reports, do we have people that want to speak on these reports?
Sure, if we can make a motion for, and second, for the first.
Can I get a motion on K1 that the report from the CAO be received regarding the parking lot lighting?
Move receipt.
Thank you.
Second.
And Robin can speak to this.
Thank you. Through the CAO to the chair and the commissioners. At the December 11th meeting, there was a request for a report on the Strathcona Gardens parking lot lighting after there was a concern emailed to the councillors. And then what we discovered was that the parking lot lighting is on an old timer system from the original 1970 arena. We've moved that system now to a photocell, so we shouldn't have any low lighting issues anymore. And then we also did a lux test in the parking lot and at the entrances, and it was definitely below where it needs to be. The entrances were good, but the entrances have been updated previously. Like, we've been on a pretty solid plan to convert a lot of the building to LED, whether it's dressing rooms, arenas, and that sort of thing, just to save utility costs or reduce utility costs. And then so what we've done, we've come up with a plan to upgrade the exterior lighting on Arena 2, and then we'll do a further lux test. And the cost for that is roughly about $8,500. It fits within our budget and our ongoing plan to upgrade the facility within the operational budgets. And then we'll do another lux test after the lighting is updated. And then we will report back. There is an option to increase or add additional light standards on the property line where we're adjacent to the RCMP. There is currently one light standard there, and there is an option to increase if we need it. But I'll work with engineering, and then there'll be a further report to the commission if we do need to go that route. And that's roughly, the quote came in at about $45,000 for that, and that's sort of within industry standards.
Okay, so we've had the motion and the seconder, but we haven't voted on it, or have we not had the motion yet? Okay, great. Any comments from the commissioners? I just had a comment. Are we going to write back to the person who wrote to the city councillors just to advise them this is in action plan or something that's being addressed?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
I just think it's a courtesy to let them know that that person is a safety officer somewhere, so I think it's well worth making them know that we pay attention. Do you have any questions, Mr.?
Just one more comment. Like, we do have a pretty healthy feedback system at Strathcona Gardens, and we do get, whether it's the managers or the admin staff, we do have concerns directed to us that we do address and follow up on. So feel free, if you get an email that's not something that needs to be addressed through committee, they can just forward to us, and we're happy to follow up with that person on a personal basis as well.
Well, thank you for that information. That was a bit unusual because it came to city council as opposed to the SRD, so that was a bit, but thank you for being proactive and the work that you're doing. Could I get any further discussion on this matter? All in favor? Receipt? Okay, I'll I don't think there's any opposed, so that's carried. Now we've got the second matter, the helmet policy. Can I motion that the report from the CAO be received?
Move receipt.
Thank you, Commissioner Rice. Thank you, Commissioner Dahl.
I think Robin will speak to this as well.
Thank you. The current helmet policy was implemented in 2022. We were, when it was implemented, we looked at ways where we could follow the lead with Skate Canada or Hockey Canada and regulate how the ice surface was managed from a safety perspective. So we did add the requirement to wear a helmet. Since implementation, we've only had one injury, and it was actually somebody that somehow got out on the ice without a helmet and then they fell. But we have had some concerns from the public, several concerns about, impeding their right to make the decision to wear a helmet or not wear a helmet. So what we've done is we put together some information in here, and there's some options for the commission to vote on or recommend. So,
Any further discussion or questions for staff? Yes, Commissioner Dahl.
I don't really have a question, but I want to comment because I was the one that brought this up. And I appreciate the work that you've had to put into this. But I wanted to point out that I have looked on Vancouver Island and haven't been able to find one arena that it's mandatory. Strongly recommended, encouraged, but none where it's mandatory. During the Christmas break, a cousin of mine drove up from Souk with her son so that he could skate with my granddaughter. And her intention was to go skating until she found out that in Campbell River, you have to wear a helmet. But in Souk, you don't have to. And then I was watching the World Juniors at New Year's, and they showed public skating at the World Juniors. And more than 50% of the people at the World Juniors skating on the public skate were not wearing helmets. So it's thought I would mention that, and thank you again for all your work.
So our Mr. Yates has said he wants to make a comment, so let's go.
Well, just a quick one, Madam Chair. And it is always murky trying to regulate public behavior through policy. Typically, bylaws are used to regulate public, especially in public places. So if the commission decides there is a need to regulate what the public wears or doesn't wear within the rec center, then it may want to look at something more reliable than a policy, because policies have, the fate of policies when they get to court is always uncertain. So you may want to think about that.
Yes, Commissioner Rice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was when I read through this, I'm a little bit mixed. I believe in helmets. Playing hockey and all of those good things growing up, I used to fall a lot. And I can tell you it was always good that I had my helmet on. I don't know how many times I've hit my head on the ice. I was actually in Ottawa many, many years ago when motorcycle helmets became law. And they actually became law because a friend of our family was the police officer that died because he didn't have his motorcycle helmet on. Being somebody that participates a lot in outdoor sports, I ride ATVs, my wife skis, we all wear helmets. I can understand that some people feel that it is crossing their, personal choices and all of those things, but I do think that they are important. So I have no problems with looking at the policy, make sure that the policy is fine. So I would probably like to move option A, but again, I am a firm believer that helmets should be worn. Thank you.
if I could just add one more thing, staff will still always make sure that however we proceed, we'll make sure we have available helmets for those that choose to wear helmets moving forward. We'll still follow that process and make sure that they're cleaned and they're ready available for anybody that chooses to wear a helmet.
So my question is in terms of helmet wear, is if we make them available, are they free and easy, like low barrier?
Yes, they're free and they're out in the area where the public puts their skates on.
Yes, Commissioner Kerr.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, for myself, I never wore a helmet skating, but then I don't skate a lot. I might now, at my age, put a helmet on. But, you know, I mean, I think, you know, trying to regulate something, behavior is always challenging. I can see the liability aspect of it. And, you know, if there's some kind of a waiver system or some kind of assumed, you know, even by buying a ticket, I mean, if it's clear that you're waiving your right to sue, you know, with reference to headgear, I mean, there might be a legal way of protecting us. Probably not, I suspect. The way lawyers are, there's probably no way of protecting yourself. But you know, I think, you know, this may be one of those issues that we spend. I mean, it certainly sounds like staff does their best to make it a safe facility, and I think that's the bottom line, is that you want a safe facility for everybody. So whatever we can do, you know, I mean, things are going to happen no matter what. Even with helmets, that there can still be head injuries. So yeah, I think the way things are right now is fine, truthfully, unchanged.
Yes, Commissioner Gilman.
I would definitely support option A if that's the option that comes through. I do agree with Commissioner Dahl that I've been in arenas in Victoria with our granddaughter and have asked at the skate shop what their policies are, and they are highly recommended or encouraged, as you said. So even in Thunder Bay in November, same thing. I approached a couple of the rinks that our grandsons were playing in, and they said the same thing. They really encourage it, but they have really no strict mandate to officially wear helmets. So I would support option A, and I'm sure staff will look at the appropriate wording, i.e. encouraging as much as possible that people do wear helmets and that we continue to have helmets available on site.
Yes, Commissioner Dahl.
I'll move option A.
Let's have the motion on receipt. All in favor of receipt? Any opposed? That's carried. And now we have a motion from Commissioner Dahl to move option A. Is there a seconder?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay. Now we have our 2025 scheduled commission meetings. Can I have a motion that the report from the CEO be received?
Move receipt.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Second. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, we've gone with what our meeting schedule was last year. So unless anyone sees some conflict in here or isn't happy with the times that we're meeting on the schedule, this reflects what we did in 2024.
Any further discussion? All in favor of receipt? Any opposed? That's carried. A motion that the meeting schedule for the Gardens Commission attached to the January 3rd, 2025 report be approved. Thank you.
Second.
Nope, we got two, but Commissioner Rice. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. And now we have a Recreate update. Great. Yes, we'll make a motion that it be received.
Move receipt.
Thank you.
And I think Wolf has a short PowerPoint to update the commission on the progress of the recreation project.
Short.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. I'm pleased to provide an update on the Recreate Aquatic and Wellness project. Significant progress has been made since my last presentation in December 2024. Just similar to what I did in my previous presentation, I'm just going to project a floor plan. This is a structural drawing that shows all the different areas where we're doing work currently. So just to give you a better perspective of where we're located, this is the aquatic center. It's all new construction. We haven't touched anything related to phase 2, which is the wellness center, and it's part of the renovation work. So everything is happening at the bottom. So if you have had the opportunity to drive through Pinecrest or Dogwood, and you look at what's going on, it's all happening in these areas that I'm projecting right now. And just to give you a better understanding, if you look at the top of this floor plan, that is the north, is Pinecrest. If you look to the left of this floor plan, that's Dogwood, because I'm going to speak about locations when I present my photos. So the focus right now is to build all the foundations. So you're going to see that a lot that is happening is related to forming, placing rebar, and a lot of concrete. We have concrete pumps and concrete material coming to the site pretty much every week. And this concrete is being placed, all the foundations in the yellow area and the green area. That's the main focus right now. Once we complete yellow and green, those foundations, we will focus on the turquoise area, which is the change rooms. And the goal is to finalize all the footings as well as the perimeter basement walls, followed by the pink areas. Those pink areas are the 4 pools. You can see to the left, the lap pool, to the right, the leisure pool, and top we have hot and wellness. So those walls will be formed at a later time, summer 2025. Now I can speak about this project being completed next year. It's kind of scary, but that's happening September 2026. So the goal is to pour those walls, and then will be the slabs before we continue with the interior finishes. I'm going to start projecting some of the photos, and again, all those photos that I'm going to project are related to new construction. So to the left, we have foundation footings. All these foundation footings are located or parallel to Dogwood. You can see the forms going on. On the right side, you can see all the rebar being installed. The guy on the right side with the red jacket, that's the inspector from RJC. This guy is coming to design every week just to verify it and ensure that everything that's being designed meets everything that's being installed meets the design. On the background, you can see a crane that is lifting a lot of the pieces for some of the basement walls. So we have a lot of equipment right now on site. We have excavators doing all the trenching for the sanitary piping. The sanitary piping that you see is those pipes in green. And just going to move to the next photo here to the left side. You can see the concrete pump pouring all the foundations for the project. And then you can see some of the shear walls and foundations being poured and stripped already on the right side, with some of the rebar sticking out ready to actually take on the basement walls, which is the next photo that you see right here. So these basement walls are over 5 meters high. They're happening right now. The first concrete pour was scheduled this past Monday. Right now they're stripping, and if you drive by, you can see some of the finishes for those walls. So really good to see a lot of progress of work. In the background, you can see the crane lifting all the rebar that is being put together on the ground before it's erected. And you can see a lot of the sanitary pipes going on the ground as well. The next slide is a video clip, as you're going to see more of what's happening on site. Have a look at the crane lifting all the rebar before I project the video, and the excavators doing all the trenching to install the sanitary pipes, as well a lot of the guys doing all the forming for all the footings. This work is scheduled to be completed in June 2025, all the footings and all the walls. And that will be followed by, again, like I mentioned before, they're going to start building all the walls for the 4 different pools, and then it will continue with the slabs. There will be a lot of mechanical, electrical installations concurrently working in all these areas. Just decided to put no sound. I think it's just better. You can see a little bit of what's happening on site. In terms of manpower, the numbers are increasing. I have seen up to 25 guys working at the same time. The goal is, I believe that this is going to increase as we continue building the project. That's it for a little video here. Looking ahead, activities coming up, concrete foundations and basements walls. Like I mentioned it before, it's scheduled to be completed in May 2025. We have all the sanitary pipe for the basement. It will be completed within the next couple of months. The interior walls being, right now, you saw the first ones being poured this week. But interior walls for the 4 pools are scheduled for June 2025 as well. Suspended slabs will start after the interior walls are poured. These slabs are to be completed, scheduled to start in April and go through July. Then we have all the structural steel shop drawings are being submitted. 75% has been approved. Fabrication is scheduled to start within the next couple of months, and we already have selected a testing agency to do all the testing of the structural members down in the lower mainland. This steel is fabricated in Surrey, and this inspector is going to come here in July to make sure that he does all the testing that is required by the structural engineer before the steel is erected, and is going to also to check all the wells that are required for this project. There are other testing agencies that we have commissioning for the project. We have hired a testing agency for all the concrete. So every time we have a concrete pour and a different mix design, they come and they test it. They take cylinders, and those cylinders are tested in the lab 7, 14, and 28 days to make sure they meet the strength that is required in the design. And we also have a geotechnical testing agency making sure that all the densities for the ground meet the requirements. In terms of the budget, we continue carefully reviewing and certifying progress claims from the builder, Heather Bray, as well from ACMA, the prime consultant, and the sub-consultant team, and carefully reviewing all invoices that come from all different consultants that we have engaged directly through SRD. So the budget, again, just to provide an update of where we are, The project approved budget is $69.8 million back in June 2024. The contract with the builder is $60.7 million. The contract was executed in 2024 and certified today $2.48 million. We just received a progress claim from December that will be certified this week. It's not included in this update, but it will be in the next one. We have a contract with the prime consultant and the sub-consultant team for $1.38 million. This is a contract for them to do contract administration. And the cost of the services approved today, $379,000. We have other costs that include all the owners, consultants, the testing agencies, insurance, permits, contingencies, et cetera, is $7.7 million. We have spent today $469,000. The project cost certified today is $3.33 million, which is 5% of the total budget approved. The project is within the approved budget. Risks, we continue monitoring our risks charts. We have risks related to design, risks related to schedule, related to environmental side issues as well, health and safety. We're carefully monitoring that, and nothing to report. Everything is positive right now, including the monitoring and the checks that the surveyor is doing to the existing building to make sure that we don't have any settlements or any movements. So far that is looking pretty good. So I'm happy to report that. We are working closely with the managers at Strathcona Gardens, and we meet bi-weekly just to make sure that we review any issues that we have from staff or from patrons, as well from the general public, and we don't have anything to report. Things are going really well. So that's very positive for the project and the community. Communications, we continue providing updates, monthly updates on our website, monthly updates on social media. We check the generic email address for the project, and we make sure that the public gets answers to any of their concerns or questions that they have related to the project. So with this, I will be happy to address any questions and provide more information related to the aquatic and wellness project.
Well, thank you for the update. Any questions from commissioners? Nothing? Okay. Well, I don't really have a question. I just have a comment. On casual conversation at a meeting for the Fish and Wildlife Club, a fellow said he was one of the inspectors on site. Don't know what he's doing. And he said everything's being done just great. So that's the only comment I've had in the community, and it looks good. So anything else from anyone else? But good on staff. I mean, I am super relieved that we haven't run into any of the contingencies we were concerned about, and it gives me a lot of confidence in our SRD staff in what they're proceeding with, and gives me some confidence on the phase 2. Okay, so all in favor of receipt? Any opposed? That's carried. So we have no bylaws that we're looking at, but we have some correspondence from the BC Hockey Championships. So could we have a motion to receive? And it looks like there might be a subsequent. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the correspondence? Okay. Oh, yes, Commissioner Kerr.
Actually, it's not on this, but I forgot to include it at the very beginning. Just a question. I noticed on Facebook the other day that there's some kind of contest, and I didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but $250,000 and getting an NHL hockey team to play in the arena, that sort of thing, that's out there. Cal, do you know anything about that? Yeah, I think it's a yearly thing, that...
Yes, I think you can go online and vote for Campbell River to be is it the Kraft Hockeyville?
I think that's what it was.
Anyways, yeah, so encourage people to go online and vote for Campbell River, and we may end up with, I'm not sure what the numbers are, $100,000 worth of arena improvements.
It was $250,000. It was significant.
Okay.
I think we were, one year, correct me if I'm wrong, we were not in the top 3 for voting. Yeah, so they narrow it down to the top 3, and then, excuse me, it gets unveiled, who gets the most votes. But I thought one year we were in that Hockeyville and we were top 3.
I believe you're right.
We didn't get it, but we're close.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's something that we could help promote.
I think we did. I think when you get, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of a self-promotion, and then the ones that get community, significant community support kind of separate themselves from the pack, and then the focus is on those, and that's when you start gaining community momentum, when you kind of separate from the pack. Am I right on that?
Yes. Yeah, it's they do engage with us. We do put promotional posters in the facility when they reach out to us, but it is 100% based on the community engagement and submissions.
No, I realize that. But we have supported it in the past. And I'm just wondering, seeing as it's appropriate in terms of working on the project right now, that maybe it's something that, that this is, any time is a good time to get $250,000, but maybe this is a better time.
Yeah, we can look into it a little closer. I think it's, you're trying to is people online support? Is that how it works there?
Yeah, it's online. It's through their website, the submission component for the public.
Right. So through, our communications and our website, we can start, trying to push things forward. Again, get that next level where you separate from the pack, and then when and if you do that, then you really start promoting it within the community. I don't know what the timing is for it, but we can certainly look into it, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, that was the chair letting you guys have a conversation outside the agenda. Is there anything more on the request for, the letter that's sitting in from the BC Hockey and Championship, and the request for the, I think it's the waiver of the ice fees, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Madam Chair, they're asking for financial sponsorship. And in the past, when the commission has seen fit to provide the kind of assistance requested, they've actually made a grant because we can't really delete fees that are set up by bylaw, but the commission can recommend a grant to cover costs.
If I
And
may,
thank you.
Madam
Yep.
Chair, I think in the past, there's been a report, and then staff bring a report on how, if the commission wants to look at supporting, bring us a report, and we provide some details on it, because I don't think there's specifics or saying, hey, give us $5,000 or something. So we've typically brought back a report, if the commission supports it, of how they can support it.
So that would be the subsequent request staff to report. Okay, thank you. All in favor receipt, Commissioner Dahl?
I just had two questions. One was, what's the value of the ice rental for the tournament for the weekend? And do we have a grant fund that we can draw from to use?
Yeah, I can speak to that. With what they have booked for coming up in March, the fees are roughly just over $3,000. It could be more or less depending on the rooms that are booked for the tournament.
And so in terms of a grant, it's a little complicated, but let's say the commission wants to support some kind of donation equivalent to $3,000. We found creative ways to provide, whether it's a grant or something else. The waiving the fees is more challenging, but anyways, we find a solution to provide some support for what they're asking. So if it's $3,000, I know in the past for other groups, like they said I'm making these numbers up, they've had a food cost would be $3,000. So we said, we'll buy the food, you pay us the money for the rent, and we end up giving them the financial contribution equivalent to what they're looking for anyways.
Anything further? All on receipt? All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Is there a subsequent? Yes, Commissioner Grenlund.
I would like to make a motion that the regional districts support this bid for some financial support for the BC Hockey Championships, Pee-wee, which is under 13. It's still hard for me to grasp the under 13 thing when you've been saying Pee-wee for 100 years. But staff bring a report back on their request for, it says in their letter, their room rental, ice costs, et cetera, and then it gives us something to chew on.
Thank you. Is there a seconder on that motion?
Second.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Rice. Any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Dahl.
When is our next commission meeting? This is for March, right? And we're at the end of January, so I'm just wondering when our next meeting is to get together and move this forward.
February 19th, according to Mr. Yates. Is that going to be enough time to get from us to?
Yeah, I mean, we've had these before. I think it's pretty cookie cutter for us. We'll bring in the options. We'll, again, find out the amount of money and provide ways that we can financially support the group if the commission wants to.
All the commissioners in favor of having a special meeting if we need to accelerate it? Okay. Any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Kerr.
Because it is, like you say, a cookie cutter, and because it's been done before, I just wonder if we could just miss that step.
If time-wise is an issue, just bring it straight to the board, so we won't have to keep going to commission.
Yeah.
We'll find a way to accommodate. We'll chat with them. Initially, it's like, does the commission support that? Clearly, it sounds like it does. We'll meet with these folks, see what they want, when they need the money, what's the critical part of it, and then we'll bring that back. We won't miss the timelines.
Sure.
Do we need an amendment on the motion that it come back to this commission and or the board?
No, we'll be fine. No.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Because it's almost the end. All in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. So I do not think we have any commission reports, do we? Nope. Okay, new business addendums and no closed session, so a motion to terminate.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor? Oh, we're done. Thank you.